Tuned in to 13signsastrology.com. We're going to go ahead and finish up today's sample on the main channel. I did a sample earlier on another channel that I'm affiliated with. I'm not really going to promote it too much because it was kind of like a soft sample. And what I wanted to kind of do was test out a small amount of money, like anything under like $25, to try to help people, you know, that want to make like $100, $200 a day. But what ended up happening with the sample is that based on this area that I'm at, these numbers and the zip code come out to be everything out here starts with the number 5, which is first and foremost kind of important because when you talk about Visa and the tax code and so-called getting out of taxes, it's like really no such thing as that. Like you get out of taxes, what you're doing is it's just vising taxes, and like you're using your view and your Visa to kind of exchange taxes in different zip codes that you may be affiliated with. But the problem that I had today, and this is where I want to kind of get into the meat of the video because it's kind of going into the economic crisis that I was talking about. And I'm seeing that like we're just not, as small people, making enough money. And like to do the sovereignty thing, you got to really be moving some serious money. And I'm even speaking of like, yeah, you're saying that like different people out there are millionaires, but they have contracts and things of that nature. So it's like even money that you have in cash is up under different forms of contracts. So like this stuff that I do with sports and things of that nature is kind of like an art. And people have to kind of respect it. It's not something that's easily understood. So like it's dealing with contracts. So like when numbers come out with scores and things of that nature, sometimes these numbers are odd numbers or even numbers. And like when they visa these numbers through UCCs, they like to come at the odd numbers as looking at that as money cashed out, period. Anything even is like internal money or internal equity or real estate or things of that nature. And a lot of times people bet equity and stuff like that to get out of doing the leg work and the footwork. So that's kind of what happened today. They put up, I'm not going to go into the whole thing of it, but they put up some property that I myself am tied in with, and a lot of these musicians that I've been vising and things of that nature are tied in with this property for a reason, because it's tied into my bloodline. And this kind of goes into the meat of a lot of the activity that you see on this channel where people, you know, claim this and that about my business ethics and things of that nature. They don't realize like I'm the middleman for like people that are in millions of dollars worth of beef. So when I do these little projects, it ends up coming out like where it's like $200,000 and $300,000 worth of money that you really gonna need to like prove certain prices. So what I have to do is that I do readings that essentially may take you, you know, 15, 20 days just to come up with like $100,000 or something like that. So it takes a little bit of time with these readings, but if I'm able to finish these readings on a business level, I can kind of get into like helping people to understand sovereignty and helping people to understand that sovereignty on a level to where I actually have money and capital to show you what's going on. And you need not necessarily money, because people say, well, I'm just going to use money to visa UCCs. And we've tried that before. Like many millionaires have came in and said they were going to be sovereign and took $1 million and tried to cash out. It doesn't work because of internal money. The IRS plays dirty. So does the FBI. They'll use internal money like equity on your own property and bet that against you. So that's kind of like what they're trying to do based on the scenario we're in this blockchain that's being held right now. And this ties into the zip code sample, but this blockchain is being held through my channel. So like why I'm affiliated with music and things of that nature, even though I'm talking about astrology, is because of namely the way people invest and trade on bloodlines. Like if you're related to someone that's a musician, even though you may not be one, they can use you as a middleman to generate resources and equity and things of that nature. So I'm saying all that to say this: in order for me to do these samples, I'm going to need to, like, since I'm in a high zip code, they want me to verify a lot of money. So I'm in the process of restructuring everything I do. I'm forming this religion. I have some help. And what we're going to go ahead and do is that I'm going to have to make more money. And not only that, I'm going to have to make more money and actually use that money and turn it into either LLC money or real estate money and start to move money through those type of companies so that I can secure and keep more of the money that I'm vising and the profit and things of that nature. So right now, these samples, and I'm coming up with, you know, $200 and $300 a day is just not enough. And you're like, well, that's a lot. But it's like for instance, in this zip code, if you're not vising about $500 to $600 in a day, just spending that, you're not going to get enough exposure. So what I'm gonna have to do over the course of next week is that I'm gonna keep up with how much money I'm spending and things of that nature, and do a better sophisticated sample. And hopefully from there I'll be able to show you guys how you can actually make a profit, because today essentially I lost money because of internal bets. So like I Visa a certain amount of money here, I'm gonna have to swap all of that money that I Visa here out just to exist here in monetization, because of the fact that I'm not generating enough physical cash to justify these contracts and stuff that I'm the middleman for. So I'm gonna go ahead and shut down. I know a lot of this is over your head, but for those people that follow me, you kind of know what I'm talking about. I'm kind of like a lawyer, sovereign law arm type of thing. So it's pretty interesting or whatever, and that's what I do. And I help people that are, some of them are outlaws. I ain't gonna lie, like, you know what I'm saying. The people, there's a lot of people in my business and things of that nature, but that's what I do. Like if you watch the movie Devil's Advocate, like they got me in a position like that. So like I'm gonna bring on like readers and people that really, I mean, I want to help people spiritually, but I got to do the paperwork, and they got me kind of looking like the Illuminati has to count the money and keep track of like real numbers and units. So we're gonna come back up, and what we're gonna do is that start to present a lot of spiritual products and services, and we're gonna start presenting, you know, like a lot of people, a lot of readers, definitely, and one particular reader, we're gonna present her and start having her do the tarot card readings and stuff like that for people, so that we can still be true to astrology. But I'm going to be working on this, what I call electional astrology, from here on out and into the future. So stay tuned. This is electional astrology, pretty much is what I do. This is a version of astrology. It's just dealing with business and stocks and Wall Street. So stay tuned. We'll be coming up with more of the spiritual topics next, because I want to kind of go into twin flames. And as always, hope you guys have a good night. Hotep.